Yo, what's up, man? It's the Listen Up Podcast. It's your boy Sam. I got my boy Brian. First part of the football season. Nobody stressed. Everything's gonna be all right. We're gonna guide y'all through this whole process. Brian, how you feeling today? Oh, before we get started, I got a special guest for everybody. So I thought the D-line play was like really bad. So I brought on a D-line guy that know a little something about that. So y'all just hold for give me about 2 minutes, and then I'm bringing special guest on. All right, Brown. How you been, man?
Hey man, it's good, man. It's good to be back, man. It's good to football season started, regardless of what happened yesterday. But we get to talk about ball. So yeah, man, it's great.
All right. Well, I'm gonna bring the special guest on. I got Jacoby Daniels, former five-star defensive tackle, and of course, national champion, Jacoby Daniels. You know what I'm saying? I one of my favorite players actually when he came to Florida State because we was in a bad place before he committed. I'll never forget that. What's going on, Jacoby?
Hey, what's up, man? What's up, man?
Not much, man. Not much, man. So anyway, we're gonna start. I think we'll just start from the impressions of the game. I'm gonna let Jacoby go first, and what kind of stood out to you the most during the game?
The thing that stood out, man, is the defensive play. Like I've been mentioning on social media yesterday, the game is won in the trenches. And yesterday, on both sides of the ball, we were dominated. Georgia Tech, they won a line of scrimmage, and once you win the line of scrimmage, man, you pretty much win the game. Just being a defensive player, a former defensive lineman, you see when the defensive linemen, some were making contact, but they were not pushing their man back. Actually, Georgia Tech offensive lineman was pushing us back. We was out of position. We was out of our gaps. We was out of our responsibility. It just seemed so out of the ordinary because the guys that's playing up front are experienced guys, and they've been out of high school for at least 3 years. So what we witnessed yesterday, you would think that that's something that would have not happened, but it happened. It happened, and
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go, Brian. What was your biggest impression, like biggest takeaway?
To Jacoby's point, like the trench play, like was clear, right? And I just felt like while watching that game, my first thing, like the very first play, before Georgia Tech actually ran a play, they were setting up or whatever, and my first words were, okay, let's see if we can stop the run. And the very first play, we got gashed, right? And so I was like, okay. Second play, we got gashed. And I was like, this is going to be a tough one if this ain't nerves. And it wasn't nerves. Like, it wasn't. So my takeaway from that is I'm not going to jump out the window. I told people I'm not jumping out the windows game one. Everybody is making these statements about like, oh, we're going to be trash, da-da-da-da. No one else has played a snap except us, Georgia Tech, Nevada, and SMU. So we're gonna wait before we jump out the window. But I will say this: I would be concerned. I'm definitely concerned.
Yeah, I think I think when you listen to all the all season stuff, it was like how much bigger, faster, stronger this team is than the prior teams, right? But I really think the hardest thing for a coach to judge is physicality. I think it's hard to judge that in modern football. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to beat your guys up. So I think in the NFL, they've all kind of went to this structure of we're going to do joint practices because that's going to give me a better idea of how physical of a football team we're going to do all these joint practices with these other teams, right? Because if you go against other guys, they trying to keep their jobs. So they're going to go a little harder than what your teammates might go after the first week of practice. Like they're going to be like, okay, all right. Because, in football, people know like, okay, once I handle you 1 or 2 times the first week, okay, this is what you is, but I ain't trying to hurt you and you teammates. So I think that's why NFL teams do these joint practices so the coach can judge physicality. And I think I think Mike probably misjudged the physicality of the team. That's my opinion because his game plan to me said to him, we're the most physical team, and we can just out physical them and win this game, even if it's a close game. We're physical enough to make the little plays, and I think he called the offense that way. And to me, they called the defense that way. They called the defense like they could just play cover 2, cover 3 shell and just disrupt shit. And it's like they could never disrupt anything because the D lineman was just getting pushed back into the linebackers' lap. Then when when the D line did play good, the linebackers couldn't trigger because by that time they scatter shot, right? Because every time they turn around, somebody's being pushed into their back, pushing to their face. So I think he misjudged the physicality. He might think it's a bigger, stronger, faster team by looking at them, but I don't think you know how physical a team is until they start hitting other people. That's my opinion.
After that first drive, man, that's what we always, kind of judge teams on that first second drive, because the first drive, everybody nerves,
Yeah.
everybody is up, so it's hype. It's
Mhm.
hype. So that second, third drive, that's when your habits start to sit in.
Right.
So if you a hard nosed player, you still gonna go. If you're a
Right.
finesse player and the first two drives you kind of went hard, oh, that finesse finna start coming out
Right.
now. You know,
Right.
so
Yeah.
yeah, man, just after that, that's when you kind of sense players and you know what type of players they are. But I can see why the defensive coordinator called those type of plays, man, because when you have guys up front like that,
Right.
you would expect for them to at least call some type of just some type of habit.
Right.
Those guys did nothing yesterday. We didn't
Yeah.
get no tackles for loss.
Yeah.
Like, just straight up beat the man. We didn't get no tackles for loss.
Right.
We didn't get no D lineman plugging the hole. We didn't get no D lineman just straight up beating the man that was in front of them. We didn't get no sacks.
Right.
We got nothing from the defensive front. And these guys are out of high school for at least 3 years. So
Right.
even if they weren't starters, they should at least have the strength of a grown man.
To stale them, to stalemate them.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
To at
And we
least
saw
stalemate them.
nothing. We saw nothing.
I think the other thing that kind of caught me off guard was after the first quarter, Brent Key gave that interview, and he didn't seem. He seemed like they're doing what I thought they was going to do, and all we got to do is just keep getting a hat on a hat. So he didn't feel like, and then the quarterback said the same thing at halftime. Oh, just got to get a hat on a hat. So that to me saying they felt like they could single block Florida State.
Yes.
So they
Yes.
went into the game saying, "Oh, if we just do our assignments and get our hat on them on one on one, we can win our one on one individual matchups." And I kind of thought like that's kind of interesting. Then I was thinking because we watched the Georgia game, right? And everybody was like, dismiss the Georgia game because that's a bowl game, and a lot of guys didn't play. And I kept telling people, I was like, it's one thing if guys didn't play and those guys are not coming back, but a lot of the guys that played in the bowl game was coming back for the
Yeah.
next year. And I was like, I felt like they wasn't you playing Georgia, like you on national television. That's still NFL film. Like people are still gonna take that film, and when they start evaluating you draft wise, they're gonna look at what you did against Georgia, right? So if you D-Jack and Jacoby, what's the kid name? Jackson, former, and Jackson.
Former. Yeah.
You supposed to be these high draft picks. Like teams are gonna look at what you did against an NFL guard. They're gonna look at that and say, well, how did he look against this NFL guard? And I kept saying that was kind of concerning, but they were saying some guys was hurt. So I kind of let it go a little bit. But Georgia Tech looked at that film and it's like they said, bro, if we just go at them constantly, they're gonna break eventually.
They're gonna
Like
break, yeah.
that's how it felt to me. And it felt like Georgia did that to us. And I was like, well, it's Georgia. They kind of do that to people, but for Georgia Tech to look at that film, because it had to be the Georgia Tech, it had to be the Georgia game, because that game plan looked like the Georgia game plan. You know what I'm saying? Like get the linebackers eye candy and go right at the defensive lineman. I mean, yeah,
Yep.
just go right at them. That's what it looked like to me.
And man, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you good. I was done.
The thing that I do not understand, And I don't know if it's being coached or allowed. But either way, it's not good. I don't want to call him out, but it's just something about his play, man, that just doesn't sit right with me. And it's the 11. It's paid.
Yeah.
It's paid. He has to understand, and these coaches has to help him understand what his job is. Either
Right.
he's a run stopper or he's a pass rusher.
Right.
Can't be both. Because every play, if you watch him, he's not getting upfield. He's not coming off the ball. He's just sitting there
He's trying
and
to run
just
around.
looking.
He's trying to run
Yes, and
around the
he's
defense
running,
off the tackle.
and he's not strong enough for that.
Right.
I don't know if he likes to work out, but he's not strong enough for that. You can clearly look at his arms, man, and he has no definition. And he's been out of high school since what 4 years now.
Right.
Yeah, and I can understand a defensive lineman can have a little gut, but his legs, he has no definition in his calves. He has no definition in the thighs.
Right.
No, but nothing. And it's just like, what is it that they are teaching him to do or allowing him to do? But staying on the line, staying at the line of scrimmage, that's not good. I'm telling you, that's not good. I've been in the NFL for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot in 2 years.
Right.
If you're not pass rushing that QB, you're gonna be out the league fast.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
ever since his freshman year, man, he hasn't done he hasn't done nothing. And I don't know if they are allowing it or it's being coached.
Yeah, I think, man, the Pat Payton situation, because I felt I didn't think he was that good last year, right? But I try to hold my comments because you can't go individually talking about players on a team that's winning games, right? You can't be like, because everybody gets sensitive about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You talking about these evaluations of players and stuff. And I think when people kept saying he's just gonna step in for Jared Verse, and I was like, man, I don't know if he's an alpha pass rusher. I don't know if because to be an alpha pass rusher, you have to be able to start the run on the way to the pass.
That's it. There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
You have to be able to do that, because if you can't, people can just scheme at you and run at you and run. You know what I'm saying? They can do a lot of scheme stuff that kills you.
And that's what they're doing because they know at the initial contact, our guys can get off blocks.
Right.
They're not that's what I'm saying. They're not trunk heavy. The bottom part of their body is not they're not trunk heavy. These guys are defensive linemen. Like, man, go out there looking nasty. Go out there, just look.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. Yeah, it just seems like it just seems like they're trying to compete with the linebackers and the safeties, like who look the best. Like, man, go out there and just look nasty, man.
Well,
forget about the appearance, bro. Go play football.
Well, in my opinion, we got a D-line full of Pippins, and we don't have a Jordan. And because like what we were for 3 years, we had 1 year of Jermaine Jordan, we had 2 years of Verse Jordan. Now, I'm not saying like they were just unstoppable and all this, but they were the people where you looked at like, okay, that's clearly like that's the headline, right?
Yeah.
It's easy for Pat Payton to get Rookie of the Year when all the tension is on Jared Verse or like okay, I'll give you another example. Like you had Jermaine Johnson, but Pierre Thomas played the perfect pitch. He set the edge. He wasn't gonna get upfield and just kill pass rusher, but he set the edge. He could stop the run. And he did his job.
Yeah, but one thing about that though, see, when people talk about role players, they talk about the best player. See, the best player can do what the role players do. You know what I'm saying? He can the best player can fill any role that the guy, his counterpart, can do. Like Jordan can do what Pippen do. Jordan could go guard the best player on the team. You know what I'm saying? He could make the passes. I think with Payton, and I keep telling people this is all about skill set. Like, what does your talent and your skill allow you to do?
Yeah.
And if you watch the last 6, because I went back and watched that last drive, they didn't put Pat Payton in the game until like they got to like third down. They got that long third down. They botched the snap. So that last 6 minutes, the coaching staff was like, you know what? We can't even play him because we know Georgia Tech's about to run the football, right? We know they're about to run the football, and if we put him in the game, that's somebody they was targeting Lundy in space. They was targeting Pat Payton in the run game on the edges. They was blocking him with a tight end.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's like now that they are running after him and they see that he's a liability when it comes to run, coaches, why aren't you all telling this man to be a pass rush demon?
Yeah.
I mean, what are y'all doing if y'all
Yeah.
know he's a liability at run?
Yeah, I said in the spaces.
I don't get that.
I said it in the spaces, and I still believe it. I really think they misjudged the caliber of players they had on defense. I think the offense is what he thought it was going to be, but they couldn't. That defense could not get off the field, and Georgia Tech was just bleeding the clock. And I'm talking
At
about
all, man.
bleeding the clock, bro. They was bleeding the clock, and I was like, that it's more demoralizing losing a 24-21 game when you can't get, when people are just bleeding you down, then you just going a 38-42 game, right? Because 38-42 game, you can be like, oh man, I played here, I played there, we could have won. But when somebody just physically like just whooping your ass down the field, you don't want to play them again. You know what I'm saying?
That's what happened. Yep. And that's what happened. That's what happened to us, man. And I also think that Jackson, the interior D lineman, is too much of the same player as Former. And the reason I say that, he doesn't need to be a starter if Former's going to start, because that doesn't benefit Former. Just like how 55 last season and Former benefited from one another, how you were saying Jordan and Pippen. They played off of one another.
Right.
Jackson can't do it. He can't do it.
We don't saw him penetrate.
We don't saw him on the field twice. We don't saw him in 2 games.
Right.
And I don't think he has made 1 tackle in 2 games.
And
I hate to say that. And man, when I tell you this kid body size is amazing.
Right.
He's amazing. And I don't know how he allowed Georgia Tech's offensive lineman to even get in his chest. I seen when he was like this, and his arms damn near twice as long as mine. Everybody's. I don't know how he allowed them to cut him. Like his body size alone, he just should have been dominating. Oh man, he should have been eating so well yesterday.
Right.
When I tell you his body size is amazing, man, it's amazing. But it's just something that these guys were doing in the offseason that it wasn't coached or it was allowed.
Right.
And both is not good. It's not good, man, because what we saw yesterday, I did not expect to see that from guys who've been out of high school for at least 3 years, man.
Right.
And then with the coaching staff, the experience that we have on the coaching staff.
Something else I found interesting. Like I listened to Warren Sapp talk about defensive line play, and I people can say what they want to say about Warren Sapp. I mean, he might be crazy, but the way he talk about defensive line play is kind of intriguing because he talks about how as a pack on first down, we want them to come to us, right? So we gon' like cave everything into us, but on third down, we gonna eat, but the only way we can eat is we got to eat these veggies on first and second down.
Second down.
Yeah, you gotta get your veggies, but I got that steak for you on third down. But you gotta get there. They just could never get Georgia Tech on their heels to really eat. They just never could.
And another thing about that, man, is your third down stance should not look like your first and second down stance.
Right.
Like these guys should be at a position now to where in all off season, Georgia Tech, if they are a run heavy team,
right,
and you know the type of formations they are in, the down the distance, the side of the ball they in, the side of the field, if they on their own 30-yard line, they line up at 22, they line up at 12. Man, and if the ball is on the boundary, man, and 90% of the time when they line up at 12 or 22, run down, man, and if they're gonna run the ball to the right side, these linemen cheat, talk to each other, man. Y'all older now, the way you can cheat a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know that from playing with Dale, because he said if you see it, call you, hey man, cheat a little bit this way, especially if the running back is lined up offset. They're not gonna run the ball that way. Cheat a little bit, man. Come on, cheat a little bit. Get upfield, and if you get knocked off, I'm gonna be right there on the backside to help you out. I'm gonna try to cover both, and that's what
Right.
I'm saying. Jackson, he has the body size to do that.
Right.
You can't be out there playing timid, man. You can't be out there playing scared. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was. But these guys have to take ownership for themselves at some point and
Yeah.
start learning the down the distance, the formation, because at the next level, that's when you learn everything. My
Yeah.
last season, man, playing for Pruitt, that's when you learned everything.
Right.
Pruitt, Alabama, they ran the same defense as NFL teams, man. And
Right.
that's why those guys was always better than everyone else in college football.
Yeah. I think man, I don't know. It's rough, man, because I think once you start even and then the line because the linebackers wasn't feeling, now you got D linemen trying to make the plays for the linebacker, and you can never have that. You know what I'm saying? Because now they
Yeah,
like,
trading, making tackles three and 4 yards past the first down.
right.
That's not good. As a defensive lineman, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good, man.
And
That's
I
not
think
good at all.
another thing, man, I think the way sometimes, and I keep telling people that people get mad, man. I say this all the time. They were like, I'd be like, shut practices down because I don't think the media knows what they're looking at when they're looking at practices, right? So when you keep telling me this team is doing this and these guys are flashing, this guys is flashing, it's like, well, what does that mean? Like, because I don't know what the coaches is trying to get out of that particular drill that you watching, and
There it is.
I think they overdiagnose the talent level.
Size queens, man.
Right.
Size queens. The
Right.
media, they are size queens. Like if they see somebody that's big and tall and this and that, oh man, they are amazing.
Yeah.
Did you see that play? No,
Yeah.
no, man. And
And
that's what Florida State has.
the thing
Florida
that
State has size.
To your point, that's what they did with D-Jax. They were just talking about it. Well, heck, even they say he's ran 20.6 miles per hour in practice and stuff like, that kind of the measurables and all that other stuff. But like none of that matters. Like none of that matters with your hand in the dirt, man.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something though, man. Football has changed so much. And I said this before the season started. Everybody kept thinking that because once you get the green dot, the offenses was gonna be better. And I keep telling people that green dot is gonna favor the defense. Like the way now a defensive coordinator can now help his linebacker to adjust what's on that field. Like it's that I think scoring in college football is about to go down. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think because of that, how we saw those limited possessions yesterday, because now you got offensive guys overthinking it now, right? They giving the quarterback too much information, right? And now once your mic cut off, the defense now don't set itself to the alignment. Now, okay, I see what they in. It's only so many plays you can run on this down a distance. I'm telling my linebacker that got his communication in, and it's slowing the game down. I thought Mike needed to speed the game up quicker. He needed to go faster because he needed to get to a certain amount of points. But I just think that because that defense couldn't get off the field, man, he could not get in. Like play calls have to get in the rhythm, and you can only get in the rhythm when you got your defense getting stops. And I think that kind of killed them.
Which is funny because like that green dot, like our defense had it too.
Well, okay, but their situation wasn't they wasn't getting good play calls in. They was getting their ass whooped up front. Like there is no play call for that. You know what I'm saying? There's no adjustment for that.
I understand that, but also too, like for instance, like that 44 for Georgia Tech, right? The whole time I was like, okay, this dude looked like the early '90s, remember with the big neck roll, that whole.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, okay, if I'm Mike, I'm putting this dude like get Toa Philly out in space on this dude. And a couple times he did, but DJ decided to go downfield or whatever. My point is, if your linebackers already know what they should be doing, so when you communicate with that, it's a lot easier because, like you said, if your middle is good, like you got a good shot for everything else to be like solid. Our middle wasn't good because I don't believe we got the guys like you could. How can you say like you didn't have a quarterback in it. You didn't have like your middle wasn't good because the guys you're depending on this year, they weren't that good last year.
Yeah, I think I don't know, man. I there's some troubling stuff in there, man. I think
Deep,
Georgia Tech might be better than what we think they is on the offensive line, defensive line. I do think
Yes.
that, but I don't know how much better they are. I know they're not better than Miami and Florida on the offensive line, defensive line. I know that. So that kind of bothered me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Here's
Like,
what I'm gonna tell you, and let's wait until these cats get to play. Let's wait and see what these people like. Now Miami, I totally understand, but let's wait to see what Florida does.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Let me ask you this question, Jacoby. With the, do you think they rotate too much? I think they rotate too much. And do you think they're doing that because they think those guys earned that spot in the rotation, or do you think they're doing it because they don't know
well,
who they need to win with?
well. It can hurt and it can help you. First of all, man, you really have to know who your players are.
Right.
So some of the guys in the past, if the rotation helped, it helped. Those were the type of guys that it helped. But if it does not help these current guys, then I don't think the rotation need to play. Like, I don't think it needs to be something that's like on a regular basis. Like for instance, I think Foreman should have stayed out there longer than the times he was out there, because I think he played an okay game.
Right.
And the reason why I say okay, because he was up front and he was striking. But every time you saw him with somebody, it was another offensive lineman there to help the other offensive lineman. So every play he was getting double team, or he was getting, like, one offensive lineman, they'll come and they'll help. They'll bump him, they'll do something. They was like, yeah, you not beating us.
Right.
We're gonna let these other defensive linemen beat us, but you're not beating us.
Right.
And that was clear cut yesterday. Former, he was striking, but the rotation, I don't think that's something, like I say, man, in the off season. That should have been established in the off season.
Right.
You look at your players and you just have to come to terms with their habits.
Yeah.
If you see some guys and their habits are great, don't stop them. Or if they are in good shape to where they can play more than 2 to 3 possessions at a time, then do that. And some of the other guys, if they can only play one possession, do that. But you have to learn your players, man. You just can't set a standard and be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. No. Learn your players. Learn their habits. Some of these guys may be still out of shape.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's tough, man.
Yeah, that's true.
It's tough. But as a coach, that's what you have to learn. You have to learn habits. And as I'm getting older, man, like I say, that NFL, when I was in NFL, man, it taught me so much, man. It taught me so much. That's why I talk and I do the way I do. And to be honest, I can't even look at the times when I played in college, bro. Right. Because I was just sitting on the line, like on the pass rush, and I'm like, how the hell that I was never told to pass rush? Like, man, go rush. And if not, how come I wasn't pulled off the field? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a coach, man, you like tighten me up, bro. Like, let me know what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
And so when I was in the league, man, and if you know how the league works, if you know how the NFL works, it's politics, and a lot of people don't understand when other people say politics. Like, GMs are humans too.
Right.
So any and every pick that they make, or any trade or any signing they do, they want to be right. They don't want to be proven wrong. They want to be the best GM. They don't care about the wins, losses. It's just that the guys who they brought in, they want them to achieve more than what the peers think that they can achieve, so it can make the GM look good.
Right.
And my defensive lineman coach, and when I was there, he was just like, damn, J Matt, how come they ain't tell us about you, man? And I'm like, damn. I'm like, what? Yeah, for real.
Right.
And I'm like, what? And then the scout for the Chiefs.
Right.
Doing the pro day when I was doing well. Yeah, man, we're gonna get you a different type of guard. You know what I'm saying? And I never heard from that. And it's crazy, man, because I saw Odell probably like a week, 2 weeks after that, man, at the airport. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, man, the Chief Scouts, man, they asked me about you, man. I'm like, yeah, the guy. I talked to him, man. You know, after that, I never heard from that dude.
Wow. Wow. That's
I
crazy.
never heard from him. After that, I never heard from him, dog.
That
So
NFL is so different, man. Good
the
grief.
NFL is different, man. It's different, but that's what I'm trying to get. Like, that's what I was saying yesterday. Like Patrick Payton, bro, know what your strengths are on
Mhm.
the football field. If you are a pass rusher, Payton, dog, just go pass rush, and then just learn to run on the way to the QB. Because
Right.
right now we don't have no pass rusher that's a demon
Mhm.
like Verse, Jermaine Johnson. But you would think with the experience
Right.
that Payton has gained over these years, at his worst,
Right.
he should be one of those guys. And that's at his worst
Right.
because of him being the defensive player, of the year as a freshman. You get playing experience as a freshman. You know, been in the system for what, 3, 4 years,
Right.
5 years. That's what I'm saying, man. As time goes on, that's when people say when the game slows down,
Right.
that's what they mean. Like, you know what's going on. Not only do you know your position, you know what the guy beside you doing, because now you can cheat a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you can do certain things and certain calls. Like, what is it that they are allowing or not teaching?
Right.
But it's something.
So,
It's something, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That was such a weird game to me, man. I
It
because
was weird.
I thought they was gonna beat Georgia Tech by at least. I thought it would be close. I thought it'd be close going into half, but I thought they would kind of walk away from them by
Second
the fourth
half,
quarter.
yeah,
Right. I thought it'd be like
yeah.
a 10-point game, but it feels more like a 20-point game. But it's more of a 10-point game by the end of it. Um, I'm gonna talk about DJU. We can go to DJU, the offense. But I do think the defense was the most disappointing thing because you brought a lot back there. You
I
should have been better there.
give
Uh, the DJU, I so I'm not. It's like I think people think offensive coordinators and stuff are like these big flashy things that they always right. They're these wonderlit kids and all this brilliant stuff, but an offensive coordinator is only as good as the players he got.
Yep,
You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
I think more times than not, especially if you got a head coach calling the offense, you're trying not to lose the game more than you're trying to win the game, right? You're trying to make sure you keep leverage, you keep everybody in the, you don't want a bunch of false start penalties, a lot of procedure stuff, but you really don't want turnovers and you want your quarterback calm. So I think Mike called the game to keep DJU calm, but I don't think DJU, if you're going to play this many games on the margins, I think you're gonna be in trouble because I don't think he could just go win a game. And I think that's what you kind of saw yesterday.
After yesterday game, man, and after seeing him play his performance, you can tell he's saving himself for the NFL.
Yeah, man,
But I don't know how that's going to play out for him. You can tell somebody that's in his corner has been giving him the wrong information over the years.
right.
And the reason I say that because yesterday, maybe four or five times where the hole probably was this big, man.
Yeah,
And he had an opportunity to run. And the times he did run, it's like he kind of slowed down and he kind of was like hesitating. And one play, one of the Georgia Tech players hit him from the backside after he gained like 4 yards. But
right.
it was like he kind of slowed down and he didn't want to take a hit. And I'm just like, oh man, he out there playing timid. When you play timid like that, man, you're gonna get injured. You're gonna
Yeah,
get injured.
he
You
don't.
are going to get injured.
He's just not a fast processor. He just don't process fast. He don't.
end
He
up,
don't. He don't process fast, man.
end up,
Go
and,
ahead, Brian.
end up. He doesn't have these, and he doesn't have. He's not fast twitched, so where he has those instincts, so he can get out of stuff and just like athleticism take over. But I will say this: I just find it funny that and I understand that every coordinator coach has, for particularly the offensive coordinator, has the prototypical quarterback they like for their offense. But considering what you saw the last 3 years and how successful you were the last 3 years, I really find it interesting you didn't kind of get a similar prototype of quarterback than you did at Georgia. I really find that really, really interesting. And I said, And what's even funny about that, they didn't they didn't recruit him. Like he was already here for you.
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just find it interesting that considering that you saw what you saw and what you saw yesterday, that wasn't the first time you saw that. I believe it. That's not the first time you saw that with your offensive line. I just really don't understand why we didn't have why he didn't change or kind of modify his thing a little bit to kind of like, hey man, because one of the things about DJ, what I was saying yesterday was DJ is no threat to keep. So you can put your ears back because you ain't worried about the guy. This guy's not fast enough to outrun that D lineman that was in the backfield all day. He's not fast enough to outrun him.
Right.
So he's no threat. And I will say, I just found it interesting that Mike didn't get a guy that could. I'm not saying everything like Jordan Travis, everything based off that, but I think there were plenty of guys who could possibly slow down everybody pinning their ears back and with a threat to keep that ball.
Something else I will say too, and I've been thinking this since Florida State played Oklahoma in that bowl game. I think, man, I think these defensive guys have looked at Mike offense enough that I think they got a pretty good idea of what's coming to them. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying this for a minute because they've completely gotten rid of the wheel route and that counter. Like these defenses are shutting that wheel route and that counter stuff down to a point now they're making Mike's offense into this drop back offense. And I thought with Keon last year, it doesn't really matter, right? If you look over there and you see Keon got a one-on-one, you could just throw him the ball, right? You know what I'm saying? You could just throw Keon Coleman the ball. I think he needs to recruit better, man, at that wide receiver position, and that for his offense to be what it needs to be. I think he needs some special guys at wide receiver and some special guys on that offensive line because I don't think he's Lincoln Riley where Lincoln gets guys wide ass open down the field. You be like, damn, that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's that type of. I think Mike does a good job of scheming up explosive run plays, but I don't think he schemes us up a lot of explosive pass plays unless it's to a tight end or a running back. But I think these teams
it's like 5 yards.
Yeah, and I think these teams are going in games and they're. I mean, like last year during the Clemson game, and I said it last year during the Clemson game, like Clemson. I mean, that second half, Florida State did not score a touchdown in the second half. Like they had to go into overtime to win the game. Like as much shit as we talked about Clemson last year.
Yeah.
And then even Miami last year, it's like they wasn't running away from Miami either on the offense with a lot of, you know what I'm saying? So I think he's gonna have to look at I don't like this idea that he just give me some fast guys and a quarterback that'll listen, I'll go get 30 points. I don't think that's true. I think he needs better players. I do. Because even the Benson guy, I like Benson. I thought he should have threw the ball to Benson more. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It just looked weird to me.
Benson yesterday when he beat that DB, man, the DJU threw it out of bounds. If he would have gave him a better chance to catch that, I think it may have been 6. That's the same thing with number 0.
Right.
When he underthrew him, and it was nobody up top.
Right.
So it was, man, that's 14 points there, man. So I don't know, man. I don't know. At first, I was a fan of DJU, still is. I still am. But after yesterday, man, it's just the conservativeness. Like he's scared to play. It's like he's not enjoying the game. Like I say, he's so much worried about the NFL that it's so much on his mind, man.
Yeah.
And I met him in Publix one time, and I told him, introduced myself and everything, and I told him, man, just enjoy the game, man. Yeah. Whatever's happened is gonna happen.
Right.
I know the pressure it is to be 5-star, the guy, the number 1 player in the country. I know, man, trust me. Yeah. And that's one thing I didn't do. I started thinking so much, and man, I used to have meetings with Jim all the man. I'm not getting no sacks, man. Like something not right.
Right.
For real. Yeah. And then they were just, Casey Hamilton from the Steelers, just basically fed me a bunch of BS, man. because I didn't have no NFL career.
Right.
And the whole time, I just knew it. Like, I'm not getting no sacks. Coach, like, man, put me in position. What am I doing wrong? Like,
Right.
and it was never an answer, man.
Yeah.
So sometimes these guys, they have to seek outside professional information.
Right.
And sometimes they have to seek that off season. The off season sometimes can be the most important thing to a college player, because it's some things that you can learn from guys who taught NFL guys who taught all pro guys. You know,
Right.
like they coach them guys, and you can go seek that information from them.
Right.
Because sometimes it's only so much you can be coached or taught
Right. By
at
coaches.
this level.
Right.
Yeah, by coaches.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's up to you to go seek that extra information. And it's a lot out there now, man. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And that's one thing I don't think these guys at Florida State do, man. They're just like the Alabama guys. Man, you see in the offseason how they guys used to work out on the Saban, and they used to do it by themselves, or they used to go out somewhere. It's like they dedicated their whole offseason to just straight training and
Right.
just straight perfecting their position and their craft, and
Right.
just habit stacking, man.
Yeah.
Once you habit stack, everything else will take care of itself. All these guys, the D linemen especially, this offseason, their habits was on this NIL, and it showed yesterday.
Yeah.
It showed, man.
Yeah.
I don't think them guys took this offseason serious.
Yeah,
They didn't.
embarrassing.
Damn, cause man,
It's
man,
It was embarrassing.
yesterday performance, that I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
These guys didn't make one tackle for loss. They didn't get one sack. They didn't get one QB hit. And then the QB that played, I didn't know that was the QB at Texas A&M. Every game when he played, he was on like he was scared.
Right.
He came to Georgia Tech, man, is like ran through us.
This is crazy.
What's his speed? Did you see yesterday when he was running to the sidelines? We couldn't even catch him.
Bro, I was going to say that. I was like,
What's
I was
his
like,
speed?
dude is turning the corner. I was
Well,
like,
you know,
man.
he was a track guy. He was a track guy.
Man, no,
But-
man.
But
Boy, man.
he is turning the corner. He was turning the corner. I was losing my mind. I was like, like there was no burst. There was like, I don't know, like everything.
And that's what I'm saying. It just seems like the guy, like we were undersized, but we slow.
you know what I think it was? I told somebody, I said this in the spaces. I was like, I think, like when you watch like a Georgia, Ohio State play, because they had these NFL players in there, and then they had these first round picks on the team.
Man.
And what happens is the first round picks, they just stick out. Like they make plays. And I think FSU looked like Georgia Tech. It looked like Georgia Tech was playing against Georgia Tech in practice. Like it didn't look like we was so many calibers of talent better than them. It just looked like, you know, like DJU and Haynes King, they play about the same game. You know, they probably accounted for about the same amount of yards. You know what I'm saying? Like DJU made a play, Haynes King made a play. It wasn't like Jameis Winston where it's like every drive, this motherfucker's going for your juggler. You know what I'm saying? It's not
man,
like
you
that.
see how, and I like how you pointed that out, but you see how Ohio State, how they have former NFL players on the coaching staff, like Hartline with the receivers.
Right.
Because it's certain things that you have to learn at the college level to be elite. And that's when I speak about habits. That's when I speak about, as a player, when you learn like defensive formations, if you see that it's a linebacker probably creeping this way, just based off their habits, and based off the coordinator who you are going against, and Hartline probably tell them guys, man, he's creeping here and the safety's back, man, just drop, you know, like dropping that little pocket right there. Like it's small things like that, man. It's things that these guys, in order for these guys to hit that next level in college, they have to go out and seek more information in regards, like to the game of football.
Right.
So
they have to, man. It's the small things.
Yeah.
It's the small things that they have to start doing, just like learning the formations, just like Florida State. Next game, the defense, not the coaches, the defense, especially the defensive linemen, they should know with down and distance what if Boston College is on their own 20-yard line, 25-yard line, their own 30-yard line opposed to the opponent's 20, 25,
Yeah.
30-yard line. They should know what plays are coming. They should know what they are going to do
Right.
because
Right.
everybody in this world is creatures of habits.
Right.
And that's how you evaluate your game. That's how you elevate your game. That's how them guys from Ohio State, the Alabamas,
Yeah.
they teach you that.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
You can't go off like just basic technique. You can't do that now, especially in college football.
Yeah.
You really have to teach these kids the game, man, in order for them to go
Elevate.
here.
Yeah.
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 Elevate, man. All this basic coaching and train, you that's done for.
Yeah.
It's done for.
Yeah,
It's
bro.
done for.
It's
You
a lot
can't
being
do
put
it.
into it, man. It's a lot being put into it. And it looked like a simple game, man. But you're right, Jacob. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. 'Cause
Yesterday, man, I didn't see them D linemen use their hands not one time. Like I'm talking about just straight slap. Man, like it's football, guys.
Right.
It's football, man. But like I say, we are creatures of habits.
Right.
Is it being taught or is it being allowed? Either
Right.
way, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not good.
So
It's not good, man.
let's talk about the adjustments they need to make. I'm gonna let Jacoby start. Where would you start first, Jacoby? I mean, I know you probably gonna start on defensive line, but
I would.
well, let me ask you this question. Should they ramp up the 11 on 11 in practice this week? That's what I start with that.
Yes, absolutely. Because you can tell during the offseason, them guys done got so used to probably not wrapping up or hitting or not even going live football to where it has transitioned into the game. But like
Right.
I say, maybe the coach thought they were mature enough to where they can turn it on and turn it off to
Right.
where they don't create that habit of thinking
Right.
it's just a bang and let them go. That's a habit they don't create it. So now he has to get rid of that habit. I hate to say it. And we played Boston College on the Monday night. Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe Thursday, we're going full pass. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, we are. Absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
We getting it in. Cause we need that physicality.
Yeah.
In order for these
Yeah,
guys
man.
to be successful, you can't run away from being physical. I
Right.
hate to say it. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. The things that showed in that game yesterday, man, was the things that you need to correct as soon as possible.
Yeah.
You have to correct that. But if your defensive lineman isn't winning up front, it's going to be hard for the linebackers to win because the man in front of them is not winning. It's like it's a free pass to them.
Right.
And then if the defensive linemen aren't getting any pressure on the quarterback is sitting there all day, man, and pick the DBs. The best DBs will tell you that they had the best defensive line because the quarterbacks got to get the ball out fast as possible.
I could time your throws now. I could time how fast the ball gonna come out. Yeah.
So it's that's where it starts, man. Up front. And I hate to say that, in the trenches. Your team, you can tell what type of team a team is by the guys up front. If the guys up front is soft, everybody else is soft. It's the defense, it's the trenches. That's where everything's supposed to be nasty.
Yeah.
And if they running around blocks and not trying to, nobody coming out with a headache or coach, man, let me get a couple of abs. When you pop them in practice, man, you get back to practice. If nobody's doing that, it's not happening. But that's what I'm saying. These media people, they are size queens. And like I say, Florida State hasn't had that size, I don't think ever, man. Like all the guys out there, DBs and skill players are 6 feet, 6'2", 6'3". The defensive linemen, 6'4", 6'5", and they look short on field. But when you meet them, like, damn, boy, what you do?
Yeah.
For real, man. So I think the media people, man, that's what they go based off of. Size queen.
Yeah.
They I don't know, man. But yeah, I think that's what we need to do, man. Coach, he really need all the coaches, they just need to sit down and think about these guys and their habits.
Right.
And they need to cater to these kids' habits.
Yeah.
And put them in the best possible position to succeed. Like I say, 6, I like him, I respect him. I just don't right now, I don't think he's a starter.
Mm.
I don't think he's a starter. I'm not saying he's trash. I'm not saying he's garbage. I don't think he's a starter. With
Yeah,
number 11, Payton, I think they need to teach him this week is pass rush. Get upfield. Get
yeah,
upfield, get upfield, get upfield. Well, eat grass. That's what I'm saying. Eat grass.
right,
Eat grass means get there fast, fast,
right,
fast, fast. But then again, it's like, what have you done in the off season to create explosion? You
right.
know, like jump rope, man. Power cleans, squats.
Bro,
You
I'm gonna
know,
tell you,
fast twitch. You know what I'm saying? Stuff
bro, but
like that.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. I was talking to my teenage stepson, right? And he wanted me to get him the little ladder, the agility ladder thing, right? And I told
Yeah.
him, I said, I don't know why y'all kids do this. Why don't y'all? You got a jump rope. I say, if you can jump rope,
Yes.
you can
Yes.
be way more explosive than playing with that ladder. And I'm not like
Yes.
I get that y'all watch these Instagram videos, but go try to jump rope for 5 minutes.
And feel all that intent, you know, just to man, your calves be so blown up, man, you can barely walk. You be like, oh Lord, man,
Yeah. I keep
that's a
telling
great
these kids
thing.
that. I see y'all need to jump rope. Stay away from these. I say the jump rope is the hardest shit to do.
Yes.
I'm telling
And
you.
and that's what they need to do. Jump rope. Payton, he need to jump rope. He need to do fast twitch muscles. He need to do things with his hands, man. All those guys up front, you can just see their hands. Their
Yeah.
hands weren't in position, as like you mentioned earlier with one side. You see how one side was suddenly got hands,
Right.
hands. Hey,
Right.
man, get your hands to work, man.
Yeah.
Your hands. You have to use your hands and your back.
Yeah.
When you would lock up and you extend and you yank a guy this way or that way, that's your back muscles.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I think those guys have gotten away from that, man, and they want to look pretty. It's not about looking pretty as a defensive lineman, man.
Yeah.
And at the next level, if they don't learn that now, they're going to learn it at the next level, and they're going to be so far behind.
Right.
So I think that's what they need to do, man. They need to learn their habits in all season. And I know I keep talking about habit stacking, man. I'm into so many reading books and
No,
people
it's
that
you're
succeed in
right
life,
though.
man.
You're right.
Habits,
Yeah, you're right.
habits. Whatever they have done in the off season, it showed in his first game.
Yeah.
All the NILs and like, oh man, I'm from the league, man, cause due to this and come on, man, that's over with now, dog.
Yeah.
It's time to play football now.
Yeah. And I think that's the one thing, bro. You know what's crazy, bro? And I'm trying not to be too negative, but last year before the Orange Bowl, I was talking to this guy that works at Georgia, and he was saying he didn't like the recruiting class the year before. I guess that was a class with Marvin Jones Jr. in it. He didn't like that recruiting class. He didn't like it. So if you go look at the recruiting class that year, it's not a lot of players left or that
Wow.
in that class on his team. They said after they lost to Alabama that he told the assistant coaches, the GA, to line trash cans up around the football field because I'm running motherfuckers out of the program or into another championship. Like we not like we because he felt like Alabama was more physical than they was in the SEC championship game, right? And his thing was, I got too many guys whining and crying about NIL and all this other shit. And over here, we're making people millionaires. Like
So,
I'm giving you a lottery ticket here. You cash it in after you leave in 3 years to go to NFL, right? So his thing was, I'm not having this shit no more. So I know with Georgia, especially going to that Orange Bowl, I know it was a big deal for Georgia because he felt like I got to reset my program. And I'm talking about this man had on just won 23 straight games before they lost to Alabama. It was like 23 or 24 straight games before they lost to Alabama. And that him losing Alabama by, where was it, a touchdown or a field goal because they fumbled the
that's what
football?
you need, man.
And he was like, that shit was like, no, man, we created some bad habits with that last class and the entitlement we gave them. Nah, man, we gonna change this shit around this shit. Like it's gonna be starting right now. We're gonna get back to the basics. We gonna hit and we gonna run these motherfuckers. It's gonna be some throwing up. So get trash cans around the field because they're gonna be throwing up around this bitch. It's going down. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying, man. And you know, I think that year when we won the national championship, man, a lot of people took that for granted. But
Right.
as the years have gone on, people see that that was something that was special, man.
Right.
And the thing about that season was my whole time at Florida State, the difference with that year was that players took accountability. And what I mean by accountability was that nobody was scared of Jimbo.
Right.
If Jimbo was talking shit to one of the players, we was talking shit back to him.
Right.
Now, granted, you know
Right.
it's you know, head coach, you know, it's a respect thing.
Right.
But
Right.
at the end of the day, he respected that. But not only could we just talk shit back, but we backed it up.
Right.
We knew what we had to do. A lot of people can say, no, that's why I say what I say on social media, because a lot of them guys know who I play with. They
Right.
know I ain't take no shit. A motherfucker ain't beat my ass up and down the field.
Right.
Hey, you can't find not one practice film. You can't find a game film where
Right.
I just got my ass obliterated in 5 years. You can't find that.
Right.
And that's why I speak on that. Even though I wasn't a flashy guy. The type hey man, you ain't see me get dug from this hole, that gap to that gap. You ain't
Right.
see me get outplayed from here to there. And that's what a
Yeah.
lot of guys have to realize, man. Hey, I hate to say it. Some of y'all, you probably was the main guy that was on
Right.
your team in high school. But when you come to college, man, hey, you just have to transition to a role player. That probably was the hardest thing for me to do. Go from a
Right.
starter to a role player. But I knew my job. I just knew my position. That's
Right.
what some of these guys have to learn. You know what I'm saying, man?
Right.
It's life, man. You got to learn your position. And I think some of those guys, man, everybody want to be the flashy guy. Everybody want to make the plays. Everybody just want to,
Right.
you know, just be that guy. Dog, take care of your responsibility and the plays will come to you.
Right.
Take care of your job and the
Right.
plays will come to you. But that's where I speak on, Sam. If you know what's going on the field, and
Right.
you know that this team is probably going to run this ball in the A gap 80% of the time when they own their own 25-yard line with the down and distance, it's 2nd and 10 because they want to kind of probably get a couple yards, you know, to set up a little third
Right.
down and short. So they probably going to run a little, you know, DB. I'm in a QB draw
Right.
or maybe give it to the running back to pick up 3 to 4 yards. And they coming right here 80% of the time. It says the ball is coming here.
Right.
That's where these guys have to start picking up that type of game. Because in the NFL, that's what it is. That's how it's going to be. You're going to have to learn the formations. You're going to have
Yeah.
to learn the down and distance. You're going
Right.
to have to learn the colors. Man, I was in the, I'm talking black. You know, it was a false white. It's on set up. Blue, it's on 2. Like, you
Right.
learn all this. They
Yeah.
teach you
Yes.
this in the defense, man.
Yeah.
Get the
Yeah.
ball. For real, get the ball.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, like turnovers, they teach you to get turnovers like it's like you're losing your job.
Right.
Florida State, like, man, we are a program to where that should be coached every day.
Right.
That's the Alabamas, the Georgias, the
Michigan.
Ohio States,
Michigan. Ohio
the
State.
Michigans, all
Yeah.
these. That's
Yeah.
what they coach them. And that's what I'm saying, because they have coaches on the coaching staff that has NFL experience.
Right.
That's what we need here, man. I'm
Right.
not saying it don't have to be me, but go out and get one of these NFL coaches, man, and see the difference that they bring to the table
Right.
and see what they bring, man, on the defensive side in the mindset. Pruitt, for prime example,
Right.
he was here, what, 1 year? And we won that championship for 1 year.
Right.
1 year, man. That's the first time I was ever part of a 3-down lineman, 4-down lineman. You had a dime package, a nickel package,
Right.
because he brought everything. That was the first time we actually, as a defense, had to sit down and study that shit. We
Yeah.
didn't have no all-season. For real, we didn't have no summer. Because, you know, in summer, up on the previous
Oh, Bobby them. Yeah.
yeah, but it was just like you cover 2 and this and that. You know, we call over the tackle, you go to over, we call under the nose tackle, you go to under, and that's it. Not improve defense. You had to
Yeah.
learn it, man,
Yeah. I heard
because
Pruitt.
times have changed.
Yeah. I heard Pruitt used to have. He'll install a whole new formation and everything a week before the game, a week before
Man,
practice, a day before
I'm
practice.
telling you, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
and you better know it. And
Yeah.
you better know it. Are your ass getting replaced? That's what I'm saying, man. Just like the Sue, the defensive end coach, Sue. I forgot his name.
Oh,
Sue's
Sal Casares. Sal Casares.
Sal.
Yeah.
Man, all these guys have NFL experience, and you can tell the difference that they brought to the table when they was here.
Right.
We need some NFL guys on that staff, man, to show these kids like how to go out there and create turnovers, how to go out there and really read an offense and dominate that offense.
Right.
Call out their plays, man. We really need that, and we missing that. We missing it. That this basic, just like this level college coaching, man, it's not gonna cut it. If we want to be up there with the Bamas and the Georgias and the Ohio State, it's not gonna cut it.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with the way you paying kids now and all this other stuff, you can demand more from them, man.
Yes. Absolutely.
You could demand more from them.
What you say, millionaires, man? They millionaires now.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I need you to produce.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But anybody got any more thoughts? Brian, you got another thought before we get off? I know we had an hour.
Yeah. I mean, what else can I say? I don't think Jacoby said it, most of it, but I don't think this is a quick fix. I think y'all had a good suggestion or whatever, like not suggestion, like mandate. Like they gotta hit, because I think we just don't have a tough team right now. Defensively, we're just not tough, and I don't know if you do that in 8 days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's true. Ooh, that's true. That's true.
But then to your point, Jacoby, that that you said a couple of times, you saying, "Hey, the coaches, why aren't the coaches doing this and this, and like this stuff that that you should be taught this and this." So, and I don't want to bring this here, but you brought it here. So, I think it starts at the top, and by starting at the top, I mean, you said was it a coach or was it allowed? And the answer was yes, because I just think there was an arrogance that we can do whatever we want with anybody. With not just anybody, but I said yesterday, man, I don't care how good the chef can cook if your groceries aren't elite groceries. Like I don't think we have good groceries. And I honestly, I think we got mediocre chefs.
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna give the coaches. I'm gonna give you a longer leash because you had 2 really good years.
Oh yeah.
But I think my problem is, and this is something I had a problem with the Jaguars with, and I know we keep talking about NFL, but the year the Jaguars won the playoff game against the Chargers, right? When I was watching the team play, I was like, damn, we're really not that good on the offensive line. Like these games only really come down to can we block somebody in the interior of the offensive line. So then the Jaguars won that playoff game. Everybody felt good about the team, but it never fixed the offensive line problem. So now you come back the next year, and now Trevor Lawrence is getting hurt because even though you won a playoff game, you felt good about yourself. It's the coaches, the GMs, the player personnel people to see what's holding my team back from being great. Like, how can I keep making my team better? And I think with FSU, I think the linebacker play last year was good, because I'm not knocking Deloach, I'm not knocking Bethune, but they wasn't high level linebackers, right? You should be able to replace that type of line. That should be the floor of your linebacker play at FSU. What Deloach and Bethune gave you last year, that should be the floor. Which you'll say that's a pretty good floor. So that's like Alabama linebackers and Georgia linebackers play at a higher standard than that. They do. They play at a higher standard than what Deloach and Bethune played at. So you should be aspiring to get like that. The fact that you don't have linebackers on your team like that is a problem. On the defensive line, you should be aspiring to be better than what you was last year. I think Fisk was a good defensive tackle. I'm not saying he's not. But at Florida State, you should be able to replace a Brandon Fisk. You know what I'm saying? You should have a guy that's as good as him on your roster because you're at Florida State. I mean, you entrenched country. You know what I'm saying? You Georgia, Alabama touch on you. You know what I'm saying? Like you touching Alabama, Georgia. You in the I-10 corridor. The fact that you don't have guys that can just eat space and get to the and push pockets and move pockets. That's concerning to me. And the thing that concerns me most about it, I don't think you got to go recruit that shit, and you got to recruit that mentality. I don't know if you're gonna always get that out the portal every single time. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You can't leave it to
That's
change.
true.
You can't
You're
leave it
not.
to
I
chance
agree.
every year. You can't be
I
like,
agree.
well, hopefully we can find a guy like this again. That's a dangerous game you playing when you playing like that. I'd much rather recruit 4 defensive linemen and hope I get 2, or
Yeah.
recruit 5 of them and hope I get 1. Because I got to get one of them type of guy. I got to get a Brandon Fisk in every recruiting class. I got to get a Jared Verse in every recruiting class. I can't just have one and hope I get another one. I think that's a good franchises. They draft like that. They don't go into free agents hoping they can fix their offensive line. They fix their offensive lines in the draft because they got to have 3, 4, 5 of those guys. You know, it's a reason why Christian Wilkinson command $100 million. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to find a Christian Wilkinson on the defensive line. You got to
Yeah.
draft that guy. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get those guys.
That's my point. My point is like we don't have good groceries, and we don't necessarily have the chefs that can identify, or I shouldn't say identify, can go out there and shop for the floor, if you will.
And when you don't have those guys, now you got to be perfect scheme wise. You got to be perfect play calling to put guys in position to make them plays instead of having a guy like a Tim Jernigan, who, quite frankly, it don't matter what play you call for Tim Jernigan, Eddie Goldman, and Jacoby them. They're pushing motherfuckers back. At least they're gonna be in stalemates. Like, you're not moving me off the line of scrimmage. Like, that ain't happening.
And you know the craziest thing about that is, man, couple years when I used to go back and see him practice,
Right.
and Marvin, big
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
I saw him practicing one time, and he came up to me. He was like, "Man, Dale showed us film of, like y'all guys that came before us." He said, "Man, I never saw you got pushed off the ball, man."
Yeah.
He said, "Why is that?" I said, "Bro, that's hard." He
Yeah.
said, "You ain't big enough." I said, "Man, that's hard, man."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's hard.
Yeah.
That's the will to won't.
Yeah.
It's up to you. If you want to do it, then that's something you're gonna do.
Right.
And then not only that, my last season, man, I played a third of the play. Like I say, you have to learn how to adjust to your role, man.
Right.
And I finished second on the team after the season in tackles. And I played a third of the plays that I used to play.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. As you get older, man, you kind of learn things.
Yeah.
And every week we used to get like game plans of the other teams and what the scheme was. And this is, like the linebackers.
Right.
And I'm like, man, what the hell we doing with this? We defensive line. We don't need it. Dog, you need that.
Yeah, you need
no, you need that because, and that's the separation from Florida State, Alabama's, the OSU's, the Michigans, the Georgias. All of them, they have NFL people in those facilities, man, and they showing these guys how to really break down the game. They teaching them how to play football on top of these guys, because I'm pretty sure we working out how everybody else is working out.
Right.
But in the games, the Alabamas, the OSU, these guys are like in position, like if somebody was a curl rock. You see the DB right there just waiting on the pick. You're like, how the hell they get?
Yeah.
And it's coming from the same programs, because they got guys that played in the NFL on them staffs, man, that's helping these kids learn the game, the actual game.
Right.
And I'm telling you, that's what's separating them.
Yeah.
The wide receivers, season year after year, they're going out. We getting high recruits too, but when they come here, it's the top, and they can't break it.
Yeah.
They can't break it, and that's the reason being. I don't care how much they've been in the weight room, how much you got to learn that game of football, man. You really got to learn the down and distance. You really got to learn the formation. Like, you really have to breathe that football stuff, man. And I think that's what the coaches have to get. I don't know how the GAs or the TAs or the people that's responsible for the players in the summertime and the offseason, they really have to get these guys in the film room and learn football.
Yeah.
They gotta learn football. That's the difference. Football. Yeah. These guys is learning football at all these other programs, and that's what's separating them. I never understood that, man, till Pruitt came here from Alabama. And I'm like, damn, this how Alabama's this good, man. Pruitt come here with this NFL defense. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
With the previous defensive coordinator we had, man. You know, just the the over, the under, it was so basic. But
Right.
when Pruitt got here, man, we ran by 6-7 different front line, different like formations. And I'm
Right.
like, this on defense? This
Yeah.
on defense, man. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. You got to really get these guys, man, and you got to learn their habits. Not
Yeah.
only on the field, but you got to learn what they're doing off the field, man, because what they do off the field affects what they do on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Go out there and get you some guys who really love football, man, who gonna sit there in the film rooms and on the weekends, hey man, we'll give y'all the keys and just go learn the down and distance, learn the formations, learn what they do in 22, learn what teams do in 21. That's how they teach you in the NFL. They don't teach you to learn the players, they teach you to learn the defense and the offensive coordinators. Because like I say, everybody has a sense of pride.
Right.
And if the offensive coordinator runs spread, even if it doesn't work, they're going to continue to run spread. It's a sense of pride. I
Right.
want y'all to know that this works. So
Yeah.
you have to learn that. Learn that offensive coordinator. Learn these schools, man. Learn them. We knew what
Yeah.
Georgia Tech was going to do.
Right.
But like, come on, man.
Yeah.
How
Right.
come, for real? Man, them defensive linemen should have been pushing that low boy all off season.
Right.
Get them thighs fire hot, man.
Right.
Get them thighs on fire.
Right.
Put them in double team situations. We
Right.
should have been running inside the whole time in practice.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
no way we should have been out physical like this, man. I'm talking about from the defensive lineman to the linebacker to the DBs, but it starts up front.
Right.
It starts up front, man. It starts up front. I don't care what nobody say how they try to go around it, and it starts up front. It's up front.
Well, I can tell you this: they're gonna get every opportunity from here on out because Boston College are gonna run between them tackles. So
Yes.
on
Yes.
what I
Well,
tell you,
Well, they got Bill O'Brien, and if I know Bill O'Brien, when he look at that film, he gonna make you whatever you're not good at. He gonna make you stop it. He gonna make you be good at it that day. So I mean, Boston College is gonna be like I told somebody. A lot of these games I thought was kind of like they would beat a lot of these teams. Boston College won them games that I think is on the table. Like you're gonna have to come out there and play, man, because they're gonna look at that film and say, "Oh, we can do that. We can do what Georgia Tech just did. We can do that. Like we got a bunch of seniors on the offensive line. It's Boston College, so they older, they strong. We can test manhood too and play that game. So it's gonna be one of those things, man. Jacoby, man, I appreciate you, man, coming on the pod, man. I really do.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. No problem, man. It's just I think it's at a time now to where people have to understand that at this point now, it's not just about the basics. Right. We have to get away from the basics. And I know I keep referring to these Bamas and OSU, but man, that's why they are at the positions they are season after season. Because of they have people who have been at that next level that's coming back and they're pouring into these young guys. And they teaching these young guys, man, football. They really teaching them the game.
Right.
The down the distance. They really teaching them how to manipulate the game and how to learn how to play the game, the actual game. That's like the NFL. It's all about possessions.
Right.
You know, you're not going to have just a certain amount of possessions.
Yep.
So you have to make things, you have to do what you have to do with those possessions. You're not going to go out there and just have this possession out of that possession and that possession. No, that's not going to happen. Yeah. It's not going to happen. And that's what we have to do here at Florida State, man. In order to become that elite program, they have to go out and get some people on the staff, man, that really knows football and that can teach these kids how to play football and how to learn the down and distance and how just like Warren Sapp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Warren Sapp. You know, first and second down, like you say, man, we really have to be disciplined to where we have to get them out that comfortability that's just like Georgia Tech. We stopped the run, we beat them.
Right.
We beat Georgia Tech. But the run is their most comfortable. They really teaching them how to play the game. The actual game, just that's like the NFL. It's all about possessions. You have to make things, you have to do what you have to do with those possessions. You're not going to go out there and just have this possession out of that possession and that. No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's what we have to do play, man. Hey, they don't stop it. We're gonna keep running. Get them out of that. Get them out of that.
Right.
We didn't do anything to get them out of that. We should have put 11 people up there in the box, man. Forget it. For real. And just the DBs and y'all do one-on-one. For real.
Yeah.
Man, that QB hasn't proven that he can pass the ball since he was at Texas. Man, show us you can beat us passing the ball.
Yeah.
Show us that, man.
Yeah.
But we basic. It's the basic things, man. But as the coaches, you really have to these kids' habits, man. And some of these kids yesterday, they did not want to stick their nose in. They didn't want to do it, man.
Nah.
They didn't want to do it.
But say that, brother.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They did not want to do it, man. And it was so surprising. Like you say, what we saw yesterday cannot be correct in 8 days. But with faith, we hoping something. Something.
Yeah.
We hoping something comes about, man.
Oh, man. Something. Oh, if you're in the Tallahassee area, man, Jacoby, man, I know Jacoby's a real estate agent, man. So if you're in the Tallahassee area, man, Jacoby, you want to drop some of your info or stuff or whatever.
Oh,
man,
yeah. Absolutely. You can contact me at 850-510-1533. 850-510-1533. Yes, I'm a realtor here in Tallahassee. If you want to know any information, just contact me. I can help you with to the best of my abilities with the contact information. That I take real estate serious, just like how I take football. You know, you go back and you digest how you digest plays. That's how you digest the market. So every day you know just keep tabs on it, and that's that. Yeah, but man, we really need some people, man, that can teach these kids, man, how to really learn football, not just the plays and not just the defense that I'm teaching you, but I want you to learn football.
Right.
You know, learn the reason why we call, like, learn it.
Yeah.
Actually learn it. Like, pick up on that, man. This offseason, these kids should have been like this, man, the whole time. We playing Georgia Tech, so we know what's going on. Right. We know Georgia Tech's going to run the ball. Some of these kids, I don't know. Maybe some of them should have came in just a tad bit heavier than their normal playing weight, you know, because we know they're going to run the ball.
Yeah. We could trim that down as the season goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's, man.
Yeah.
We have to do that.
But if you're in the Tallahassee area, man, you looking for a home, hit my boy Jacoby up, man. Man, that's the pod, man. I was a good show. Went longer than I wanted to, but that's fine, man. Because I think we had a good conversation, man. And we definitely get you back on, man. Anytime you want to, you just let me know, man.
Maybe
absolutely, man.
What's that, Brian?
Next week.
Oh yeah, it'd be awesome, man. It'd be awesome. I'm not gonna be able to do these shows like I want to go 2 days out the week like I've been doing, but now my son playing football and these coaches want to practice Monday through Thursday, so now I'm kind of like I gotta give a time to my son, so I only can do Sunday mornings now.
Absolutely, that's understandable.
So, but yeah, man, y'all keep locking in. I appreciate all you guys coming through the chat and everything, man. Y'all still here, so but we gonna do it every Sunday, man. We have a reaction, good or bad. We gonna be here. Hey, appreciate you again, Jacoby, Brian. Appreciate you fellas, man.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one, man.
Hey, man, you
bless.
Too. Yo.